But let's do the discussions. I have in the studio Abraham Amaliba. He's a legal practitioner and also joining us this morning, a member of the NDC. Thanks for joining me, AB.
Good morning.
Good morning to you too. And Henry Kwabnako Kufu is a legal practitioner but also a former member of parliament for Bantama. And thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
How are you, sir?
Thank you. It's
Fantastic.
okay. Fine.
But we wanted to start with apparently the activities of our personnel who are part of Operation Vanguard for the various areas where they've been posted to. But before we do that, though, we know that in neighboring Burkina Faso, we've been told that at least 17 people have been killed and 8 others wounded in a terrorist attack in the center of the capital of Burkina Faso, Ouagadougou. And we're told that 3 gunmen opened fire on customers outside a restaurant, or I took a Turkish restaurant, and we know this is a severe we're witnessing this. I start with you, AB, on the subject. It's now in the news prominently, especially on the BBC, etc.
So let me say good morning to your viewers. There is an affiliate of Al-Qaeda that is very active in the Sahelian area. This is the second time that Burkina Faso has come under such an attack. What we need to understand is that there's a need for a joint effort in terms of using the ECOWAS sub-region, members of the ECOWAS, to fight these terrorist groups. When we leave it to individual countries, I'm not sure we'll be able to deal with the menace. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because whatever happens in a neighboring country has an impact on your country. Don't forget that our Black Stars, the local Black Stars, were in Burkina Faso on Saturday to play a football match. They only returned on Sunday. I'm sure they would have still been in Burkina Faso if the match were played on Sunday. And so what happens in the sub-region is likely to have an effect on you. So let's have a collective effort as ECOWAS to deal with this menace. In January, there was a similar attack against in Burkina Faso, and it is becoming too much, and I think that there's a need to step up intelligence gathering. Intelligence gathering for me is the key to resolving all these matters, because these terrorists live in the society, and what they do is to take advantage of unemployed youth, recruit them to cause that kind of mischief. I am thinking that the same unemployed youth can be tapped into by governments, use them as informants, give them stipend. In fact, when they are on a daily stipend or a monthly stipend, they will prefer to work for the government and for the people than working for Al-Qaeda. It doesn't cost so much to put an unemployed person, youth, who would serve as an informant and who would also serve as a person gathering information for the security agencies. If we do not invest on intelligence gathering, the fight against these Al-Qaeda groups or this terrorist group will come to naught. Now, this is also a lesson to Ghana. When the Canadians and the British sent some alerts to us, we sought to downplay it.
Well, we kept reporting that it was not true.
Yeah, and you see, for me, too much information does not spoil anything. Let's even assume that that alert was some years back, as the Minister of Information is saying, that this is not a recent alert. It doesn't matter. What is important is that how ready are you? How prepared are you as a nation? And I've indicated that we need the government or the security agencies in this case to be able to educate the Ghanaian people that in the event of an attack, how do we react? If I'm in the Accra Mall and there's such an attack, how do I behave? How do I, that kind of thing. We need to enlighten our people in the event of such an attack. But if we dismiss information, and I had my brother, what's his name? Hamid, who happens to be my classmate. Mustafa Hamid, indicating,
the Minister for Information.
Indicating that no, this is an old alert and there's no such cause for alarm. I think it is wrong on your part, Minister of Information. What you should do is to team up with the security agencies and assure the people of this country that you are on top of the issues. But don't dismiss any information, intelligence information that comes into the system. Don't do that.
Okay, but at the end of the day, it means that we have to be cautious. It's not the first time that we've witnessed this in the sub-region. We've had attacks in Mali, and we've had even an attack in neighboring La Côte d'Ivoire. Nigeria has seen several, of course. Yeah. We just have been lucky so far.
Good morning to your cherished viewers and to the crew, and to your very self, my colleague, senior lawyer. Over the weekend, we had the opportunity to witness the funeral ceremony of our brother's wife, Hobson Adoye, in Koforidua. And it was quite...
Hobson Adoye's wife passed?
Yeah, passed.
Our condolences.
Yeah, so last Saturday, she was buried. She was resident in Germany, so all the German gurus were there, including Becky and the lots. The president himself graced the occasion, and we thank him very much for that. So I'll take the opportunity to thank all brothers and sisters who mourned with our brother Hobson. And only yesterday, too, I had the opportunity to be with the president at a monochrome, where Presbyterian Church was consecrated. 160 years of existence of presbytery in my hometown, my mother's hometown, Amanakru. It was quite a splendid thing. The president was there, and the chief, Usim Kwetia Nana, who is also the justice of Kwapim traditional area. Having said that, we thank God for today, because others haven't gotten that way. My people in Ashanti region, I greet you. Greetings to Bantama people. On the subject matter, I may start from where my senior ended. Yes, of course, I think last week or two, the news was trending. The alarm bells were ringing. And the information minister might have come out, said what he said, or what is reported to have said, not primarily to discount the information or downplay the threat. I don't believe so. He might have done so in the context of avoiding fear and panic among the populace. Indeed, these matters are that of security intelligence, and I can assure you and the people of Ghana that the National Security Minister, Honorable Kandapa, and the security apparatus, they are very much awake and working around the clock to ensure that Ghanaians stay in safety, and that any attempt by any other groupings try to attack on these levels, terrorism levels, could be dealt with. However, it's very important, it's necessary, he said so, that we need to orientate ourselves, we need to conscientize our citizenry how to react towards possible attacks. We are not in a world of our own. We are in the community of countries, and countries as advanced as US and whatever, Europeans, China, and OPCO, they are all facing these threats, and they are real. Burkina Faso have experienced about 2 or 3 of these. Kenya, we all witnessed what happened in Kenya. Nigeria had been reoccurring and all that. Ivory Coast. We must have been quite fortunate not to have so far, and we pray to God that we do so. What do we look for as citizens when we see people with suspicious movements here and there? What kind of thinking do we have? The tidbits. What we need to start educating our kids in the school. Those at the tertiary must be taken through some of these things, and likewise at workplaces. Most importantly, studios, stations, broadcasting stations like here. we all need to be taken through these kinds of things. The trauma that associates or come along with such attacks are even more deadlier. I mean, the rushing and all kinds of things. How do you control it and all kinds of things, manner of things. So it is important that as a nation, we take security matters serious. I do not believe and I do not think by a thread of thread that the information minister simply came out to downplay that so-called alert or whatever. It is already, the country's security apparatus is already on red alert, looking up to and trying to nip in the bud any such attacks. It is upon us that we should also be complementing the efforts of these people. Back to the Burkina situation, my condolence goes to life lost and to the country as a whole. But it's becoming one too many. The situation there has to do with a broader regional bloc political conflict. It is even religious to some extent. We have this Islamic, Maghreb Islamic separatist groupings within the Sahel grouping in the northern part of Africa, Morocco, Mali, Niger, and all kinds, those countries there. And Burkina happens to be part of that region. And so there is a grouping that's asking for its own country, fighting for their own. And like I said, separatist groups. And they have become deadlier the time they joined forces with the Al-Qaeda. So it is important that we have a committee of nations coming together trying to fight this menace. And I'm reliably informed and I'm aware that there is a multinational force that is being put together or has been put together to try to counter these terrorist activities. But I think it will not be ready for operations until the tail end of the year or maybe possibly next year. So we must continue to pray for ourselves and for other nationals. We must be on the lookout and encourage our security apparatus to work effectively by volunteering information and looking up to and then looking up for dubious characters who might be behaving strangely in places of public gathering. It is important to note that the target has always been on restaurants and multinational company facilities. So if you take Burkina, for instance, what happened is at a Turkish restaurant along Kwame Nkrumah Avenue in Burkina, in Ouagadougou. And it's reported that what happened last year, that claimed about 30 lives, happened also on the same, alongside the same avenue, the same street, where they had the cappuccino, and then there was a hotel, and then the cappuccino restaurant. And 1 year ago, that's 2016 January. So within a span of a year or 1.5 years, these things are happening there. It tells you that there's a need to work harder and faster. And I know the President of the Republic will take things
Mr. Amaliba, which one is important? That we make people aware that we're not an island nation, that these activities are ongoing, or perhaps we engage in the politics that come when, let's say, a member of parliament for, is it Norton, okay, raises those concerns and feels that government should be alerting the citizenry so that we're a lot more cautious, so that we don't also tend to degenerate into the political banter or the narratives. Which one is more critical?
What is critical is not to behave like an ostrich.
As if we are not hearing anything, we are not seeing anything, and that we are an island on our own. We should not behave that way. You see, once the neighboring countries are being targeted, you should reasonably expect that your country will also be on the firing line.
And so, for me, I think that government should not take the position which looks like, oh, Ghana cannot be targeted, or Ghana, what have we done? We've not injured anybody for somebody to be targeting us. Don't take that position, because sometimes these people act on the basis of your friends, your enemy, or what do they say? Your friend's enemy is my enemy, something of that nature. Now, Ghana may not have, directly incurred the wrath or anger of the Al-Qaeda people, but they may want to target Ghana because we are friends to their enemies. And so the government should not put up an attitude that suggests that, oh, all is well. The assurances that Honorable Kokofu is giving me, I don't buy them, because even in-house, in Ghana here, we are unable to contain invisible forces or Delta forces. So how can you sit on TV and tell me this and I can go home and sleep? I won't sleep. So I think that there's much work to be done on the part of our security agencies. And so they should step up their game, because when these people strike, you may not know who will be at that place. It may even be a minister. And if it's a minister, well and good for them, because that's what they want. And so let's not behave like the proverbial ostrich that buries its head in the sand, and because it doesn't see people, it thinks that people don't see the rest of its body. The people are around our country. They are in the neighboring countries. How do we ensure that we put our security on high alert? That, for me, is important. But to always dismiss information such as that, that is what they want. They will even create confusion within, so that they will take advantage of our polarization. And so when you put out information there, and people say, oh, nothing will happen, and this will say something will happen, then they will cash in. And I think that there must be unison, because in this one, we are all facing the same enemy, which is the terrorist group.
Yeah, but I'm surprised, because I think we are all singing the same song.
So don't be surprised.
I'm coming. Except that you are coming from the previous government. Maybe in your time you had the notion, or the notion was that nothing was going to happen to Ghana because we haven't offended.
Nobody
anybody.
in our time said that.
Please. But who has said so?
Your minister.
No, it's not true. What is true is that the so-called information might have degenerated into fear and panic. And as responsible government, we need to allay the fears of the people whilst the security apparatus work behind the scene. Some of these intels are not for public consumptions. As you put up so many...
How about an intel for public caution?
Yes, of course, that is okay. And that is what we all looking at. That is what we are saying.
You've not done that.
Yes,
so
of course. Yeah, of course.
Because we seem to think that, oh, nothing is
We've not done that.
untoward.
No. Maybe at our level here, then we must be accustomed by ourselves and others to know that these threats are real. I mean, you cannot discount them. Nobody can discount them at airports, at the place of public gatherings. So to sit here this morning and pretend and tell the people of Ghana as if the government is doing nothing about these threats is one below the belt. Intelligence services, their work are not to be exposed in public. How they're going to counter these and all that. However, there are tidbits that we need to know as citizens. And that is what we are all calling on the security agencies to up their games by way of educating, creating the awareness and what to do and what not to do. We were in this country, and under your watch, 8 years in government, we never ever saw government officials or any such security operations coming up to tell us. So all of a sudden, you realize that you cannot go to sleep if these threats are there. You're talking about Delta Force and all those. We have all condemned this internal kind of gangsterism. It happened under your watch. You could not do anything about it.
Delta Force happened
under our watch. Please.
Delta Force happened under our watch. Please. Delta Force happened under our watch.
Listen to me.
Hey.
Your minister then, your minister of interior then, Wayongo, had nothing to say that these groupings are going to be recognized. They are going to be licensed. What was he talking about? Wayongo, Mark Wayongo. Remember yourself.
Going to disband them, not to register them. What do you mean by that? Please. He said he was going to disband them.
Don't distort the facts. They can play it back to you. Wayongo said there's nothing we could do about them.
He said we're going to disband them.
We have to license them and then give them recognition. Those were the seeds that you sowed. The seeds,
we sowed the seed of invisible forces.
You sowed the seed
of invisible forces.
You sowed the seed of
invisible forces, eh?
You saw the seed
Delta Force
of these violence and all those. We saw your foot soldiers. Yes, we saw your foot soldiers doing all the manner of things, and this has cremated into our societal fabric. We need to uproot all those things. It is absolutely unnecessary. Nobody wants it.
For the first time.
So for you to sit here and to talk as if under your watch there was no internal wranglings and all those things among party foot soldiers. I mean, you are deceiving yourself and deceiving the whole nation.
Internal wranglings is different.
No wonder your party is on fire. No wonder the abuse, the violence, the verbal abuse continues here and there. And that is what degenerates into real physical violence and attacks. So let us deal with the issue as they come and stop the name calling and trying to put sand or whatever in the eyes of the public. We need to conscientize our public, our schools, students, workplaces, places of convenience, I mean, public places, entertainment and all kinds of things. These threats are real. So we must sit up as people, we must sit up as a country, and as we express our condolences to our neighbors in Burkina Faso, we must learn lessons out of that. And I've assured you, and I can tell you once again, that the Minister for National Security is up and doing. He is aware of the task, and he and his men, the other security apparatus, are already on top of it. The President of the Republic will, from today, indicate to us as to what we really have to know.
How do you know? Will the President be speaking to us?
No, I don't mean public speaking. I mean, the indications will be coming. The President is going to be briefed, and he's briefed about what is happening in Ouagadougou. And the President is very much aware that within the sub-region, we are all at risk. So you would have been, by now, conferring with his lieutenants for the security situation. So just be rest assured. You can go home and sleep. Go do your work and all kinds of things. But beware and be alert.
Mr. Amaliba, what usually will prompt such attacks? Because sometimes, for all the things that Mr. Kokufu is saying about Sahel region, separatist groups, etc., Burkina Faso really is not a conflict-ridden country. I mean, we have to be realistic.
But they are part of the Sahel region.
Well, I do understand the point you're making. What, for example, in Ghana, what will prompt such attacks? And where are they likely to hit? Is it where we have congregation of expatriates, etc.?
With this, let me start from the Sahel region before I enter Ghana.
Okay.
There is a separatist group that is interested in establishing an Islamic state. Indeed, they succeeded partially in Mali, but I think the sub-region put together a force to liberate that country. But they are still active. And so their mission is on Islamization and not in accordance with the Quran. They are mutilating the Quran and, trying to use the Quran as their basis for doing what they are doing. But if you ask Islamic clerics, they will tell you that no, Islam does not stand for these things that they are doing. In Ghana, why? We have the expatriates who are in Ghana. They may be targeting groups of people in the Sahelian region. But if they know that there's a soft spot here, that they can easily get the same people and to have the same impact, they will come to Ghana and do so. And when they are doing that, they may not be attacking Ghanaians, but there will be Ghanaians in and around where they will be attacking. And so we should be very cautious of the way we deal with information that comes in. Every information, no matter how repetitive, no matter how repetitive the information is, let's continue to hold it, accept it, and work towards ensuring that it doesn't happen. He says I should go home and sleep. I cannot sleep because until you are able to deal with invisible forces, which for me is an example of an unprepared security agency, I think that with Al-Qaeda and their affiliates, that is going to be a mouthful for our security agencies. Because our security agencies have not shown that they are even capable of dealing with these riffraffs, let alone to deal with Al-Qaeda, who are well trained to be able to do those things.
You are a lawyer, and I know they are before court.
And I think that
they have been arraigned before court.
And I think that
the culprits were arrested and they have been arraigned before court. And you are aware, and you are an officer of the court. You are aware they are being tried for those offenses.
And I think that for the first time in the history of Ghana, the United Nations had cause to call our president, to tell our president to rein in those invisible forces. For the first time.
They have been arrested.
For the first
and
time.
they have been put to court.
Indictment on our
They have been put in court.
Indictment because it appears that UN did not have
you arrest the wrongdoer, you put him before court, and what else
they
then?
saw that the security situation was deteriorating.
And you believe some of these underlying factors could be
one of the reasons why they could even come here, because there are ready hands. Invisible forces and you see how disgruntled they are. They are a keg of gunpowder.
Well, we're told that tension is mounting at Enyinem.
They are a keg of gunpowder ready to explode. When they come here, they can easily recruit the invisible forces and cause him.
Tension, but tension is mounting at Enyinem in the Tiwa district of the Eastern region as angry residents apparently they're blaming Operation Vanguard task force for the death of 4 miners. We're told that they'd been agitating, claiming that the 4 were killed by members of the anti-Galamsey task force close to a mining pit at Achim Akukoso, a mineral-rich town. It's a mineral-rich town in the Tiwa district. I'll start with you, Honorable Gogofu.
Yes, once again, we have on our hands this very unfortunate situation. It is one of the legacies left behind by the outgone government.
Can we stop the politics?
No, there's no politics.
Galamsey has been on for a number of years.
Don't correct him. Let him.
It escalated under their watch.
Let him ridicule himself.
It escalated.
Yes, under their watch, and became alarming under their watch. And we are all witnesses. They tried to stop it, they couldn't, and rather escalated. So this present government has undertaken to do that what is needed to do. The president have indicated over time and time that he will not sit aloof and watch as our natural resources, our very biophysical environment is under threat. And indeed, he has gotten the support of almost all Ghanaians, including you in the media. So the battle rages on. One would have thought that by now this kind of impunity would have stopped. But it looks as if people are so recalcitrant. People wouldn't want to budge. People don't want to heed to the call by everybody to stop this illegality. He and his government, I mean the president and the government, is not one bit time against mining, small-scale mining. But the situation has degenerated into some kind of lawlessness, illegalities all over the place. So we want to bring sanity into the system. So those who will be engaging in, will be doing genuine and legally binding businesses. Now, we have countless of people, these miners, dying in day in and day out, that we cannot even count them. We cannot even see them through these freak accidents and all that. About 2-3 weeks ago, we learned about 17 people died because there was a cave-in. And there are several more that goes unnoticed. Only this morning I learned about this, the killings of the 4 or the death of 4. I do not know whether they were killed or murdered or whatever the case may be, or it was accidental. So with what associates Galamsey and these deaths, it's been there. It's very horrible, and everybody is against all those kinds of things. So we need to encourage the Operation Vanguard, I mean the task force, to be up and doing. By now, they are being accused wrongly or whatever until investigations determines. But for now, they only stand accused. I think we need to encourage them, bring back their morale, because they are national duty and national service. Those who have lost their the lives of their beloved ones, we empathize with them. It's very, very disheartening to see these young men die not of natural causes or something of the sort. So I will entreat my brothers and sisters within the catchment area to exercise restraint whilst the police and the security apparatus, the medics looks into what really happened, what caused the death of these young Ghanaians. So peace must prevail. I don't think confrontation with the task force undertaking legal national duties will help anybody. The town folks, the people, and I'm happy my own uncle, the MP.
Well, so let's speak to a correspondent on the line. And Maxwell Kudako is Eastern Region correspondent. He's in the town of Inyinem. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Ro.
Now, specifically, we already have those answers. 4 killed, but what exactly were they killed for? Why were they killed? Is it linked to the Operation Vanguard team, so to speak?
It is difficult to say or determine for now whether or not the killing or the death of these 4 guys is connected to the Operation Vanguard activity. But the youth have been alleging since yesterday that the death is connected to the Operation Vanguard activity. They claim there is a gentleman who operates a low loader. Low loader is that kind of big truck that is used in conveying excavators, articulators, and those heavy cars. The operator came to town and informed the town folks that he sent the 4 guys to go and pick an excavator from a mining concession within the extra gold mines in Kwabin. And then while the gentlemen were going, they called him that they were being trailed by a car that they suspect that it is the Operation Vanguard team. So that was the last conversation the low loader owner claimed he had with the deceased, the 4 guys. So this is the basis on which the community are pointing fingers at the Operation Vanguard team. However, I spoke with the district police commander for the Kwabin Police District, DSP John Yeboah. If you know Kwabin very well, before you get to the Kwabin Township, there's a barrier, there's a police barrier there that usually do routine checks up and so. So the commander told me that since they started operations in the Eastern region, the Vanguard team have entered his jurisdiction once. They even came during the daytime. So far as his records are concerned, the Vanguard guys have not entered his jurisdiction for almost about 2 weeks, and that they have not operated within the Kwabin district before during the night. So the police cannot independently confirm the assertion of the town folks. So he concluded that investigations are ongoing, but for now, he cannot say that the Vanguard team are responsible for the death. Meanwhile, as of last night, I picked intelligence that morale is down within the soldiers operating in the region, the Vanguard team, and that they have even threatened to withdraw their services from the region based on the accusation that has been leveled against them over the period, when they started operations. I am told that it is likely the regional minister, Eastern Regional Minister, Honorable Erekwati Dafo, will meet the leader of the team this morning to calm tempers down and then ensure that the team stay in the region and curb the devastation that is being perpetrated or caused to the environment. So, independently, we cannot confirm that the Operation Vanguard team have a hand in this. The police commander says that, so far as he is concerned, the Vanguard team did not enter or have not entered his jurisdiction within the Kwabin area for the past 2 weeks. So he cannot confirm that they have a hand in this. So all of this connection with the Vanguard team has to do with a perception or an allegation leveled against them by the owner of the low loader. But thankfully, the youth yesterday threatened to cause mayhem. But the MP for the area, Honorable Amwakwata, intervened. He spoke with them. Tempers came down. But because 2 of the victims of the disease are Muslim, the Muslim community, I spoke with the Imam of the Ninem area. I spoke with the widow, one of the guys, one of the deceased, the wife he left behind. I spoke with them, and they are begging the police to release the body to them because they cannot keep the Muslim religion firm on keeping the disease for more than 24 hours. So they are pleading that the police should release the body to them for subsequent burial. But the police also claim that the circumstances surrounding the death of the 4 need to be unraveled before they can release the body. So personally, the family are with the police at Kwabin trying to sort things out. As I speak with you, bodies of the 4 guys have been sent to Accra at the police hospital for autopsy. So briefly, this is what I can report now. However, there is one assemblyman at the Chebia Himbonum, Honorable Kwame Esiebukwe. He is advocating for a deeper probe into the matter. He is calling for the immediate arrest and interrogation of the owner of the low loader who alleged that the military have a hand in it. Because he believes that the circumstances surrounding the death cannot be connected to the team or the Operation Vanguard. So he is calling for a thorough investigation in the matter so that the culprits will be brought to book.
Okay, so I would want to ascertain the deceased. Were they shot? Were they having gunshot wounds? And so the link is direct to the operation team?
From the evidence I gathered in the town and the videos I watched, I didn't meet the body at the scene. When I got to the scene, the police had conveyed the body from the Akukuso to Accra. But from the videos, the footages, and the interactions I had with the police and the people who went to the scene, there were no trace of bullet. You will not see the trace of bullets in any of the bodies. So there were no bullets, but you could see that they were mangled. Somebody attacked them. There were blood and foam coming from the nose and the mouth. You could see one of the guys lost some teeth. Some of their teeth were removed. So like somebody struggled with somebody used something to hit them, and you could see some bruises on the forehead, and some cuts. On the body. So directly one can conclude that they were attacked. There were some struggle before the death, and apparently they were pushed into an open galamsey pit. The police traced them because they saw some footprints from the roadside to a nearby open pit, and then they were found in the open pit. So the police had to organize divers to go and then remove them from the open pit and then subsequently send them to the hospital. The car that they were using, the low loader that they were using with registration number GR2937-Y, and they met the low loader by the roadside with the engine on. So one can conclude that either they attempted running for their life and they were attacked, or either they were attacked, and it is an issue that the police are handling. So we cannot independently see what happened. But what we can report is that the 4 guys, the name of them, one is called Tiki. He is 32 years. I'm told he is an excavator operator. And then one, Charles Osei Amponsa, he's 25
But Maxwell, enough of the names though. But how come that we have this ongoing, an operation to make sure that these communities don't continue, or we don't have the perpetration of galamsey activities in these communities, but we keep finding accoutrement or equipment that are used for galamsey? It's quite baffling.
The illegal mining has not stopped.
Okay.
In most of this mining community. Most of these guys mine at night. They mine at night. So it's difficult, and they don't mine by the roadside. The mining, the devastation is happening in the forest.
Okay.
So the excavators are sent to the forest at night. So when we are asleep, they will be digging. So daytime, you will not hear the sound of any machine, excavator, turning soil, or if you like, bulldozing the surface.
All right.
So in the daytime, they just do washing.
All right.
It's very difficult to determine.
All right, Maxwell Kudeko, our Eastern Regional Correspondent, and he's at Enginim. It's in the Tiwa district of the region, and we're told that four persons have been killed. Now, Ms. Amaliba, you listen to the scenarios, no bullet wounds, and we still have areas where we have this huge machine still being used to mine at odd hours when everybody, it looks as if people just don't want this activity to stop.
There are conflicting reports as to what actually happened. But the question I want to ask, last week we were here, one person was shot dead. The question I want to ask is whether we are in an era of extrajudicial killing. We cannot have the security agencies shooting and killing. That is not a punishment for engaging in illegal mining. That is not. We have a mining act. Indeed, the Constitution allows for mining. The Constitution allows for mining. Then the Constitution went further to say that parliamentarians will put in place rules and regulations to govern or regulate the sector. The Mining Act, that's the Mining and Minerals and Mining Amendment Act, then provides for how people can be punished. And so when we hear death occurring as a result of this Operation Vanguard, I want to ask the question, whether there's now a shoot-to-kill policy. For God's sake, we have a human rights lawyer being the president, and we cannot have these things going on. Mining, illegal mining, galamsey is bad, but the response, the answer is not to be killing the people. We are not in a lawless state. And so there are rules and regulations. The president cannot arrogate to himself the right to deploy people to the mining site, and those people will begin killing people. It's wrong. We are not in that situation.
But we're also not told that that's the situation that's happening.
I linked it to last week.
Okay.
And told you that
last week we were here. Told there was a confrontation. Yeah.
We're here, and then somebody was killed. You know? So I think that, and you know what they are doing? They are even burning the machines.
Assets of people.
Assets of people. That is wrong. That is, for me, that is state sponsorship of arson. The state is sponsoring arson. The mining law also provides for how these things are done. Confiscate, and they are given to the police. So when you seize the items, they are put in the police custody. You go to court. The court makes an order for the item, the equipment, to be allocated to a public institution. The minister of, and I'm not telling you what the law has, the minister for lands and natural resources would then allocate the item to a government agency and gazette it so that we all know that it is this ministry, it is local government.
It's been handed over to us.
So the law is there. We are a country of laws. You don't ban them. And I think that this government has been engaged in a lot of lawlessness. Some of us must tell them in their face that the fact that you've had victory. Because you have overwhelming victory doesn't mean that you can turn this country into your personal property. Rule according to the law. It is wrong for the state to be doing what it is doing at the mining site. Yes, Galamsey is wrong. And if he doesn't know, Galamsey did not start under the NDC. So if he says that, oh, it is our handiwork, probably he doesn't know the history behind Galamsey. And so, for me, this one calls for a thorough investigation. Indeed, in this investigation, it should not be left to a BNI sitting in Accra and submitting a report. This one must include the natives, the local people. They should be part of the investigation team so that we can arrive at whether or not these people were killed by the Galamseyers, the Vanguard group, what's the name of their name? Operation Vanguard team. Or it was some other group of people or murder that occurred without the Operation Vanguard being involved. I've heard the man say that, your reporter saying that the police officer in charge of the jurisdiction said that the Operation Vanguard people came to the jurisdiction once, and to the best of his knowledge, they've not come again. I want to ask the question. Do they need to necessarily inform the police that they are coming to his jurisdiction?
In other words, you are saying that they could make entry without
informing him.
Okay.
So that cannot be a basis upon which you can exonerate the Operation Vanguard people. For now...
But that's just circumstantial, it's not...
For now, the Operation Vanguard have been fingered. We need thorough investigation to deal with this matter, to get to the bottom of it. I do not think that this should be left to only the police. This one involved the natives, the people there, and they must be part of the investigation. But the lawlessness on the part of this government is becoming one too many. And I think that the government must sit up to ensure that they stop the rule.
Isn't it a good thing that we want to make sure that...
you don't kill people. I'm saying that you don't kill people.
Nobody has said to have been killed by anybody.
Nobody has been killed. People are dying.
Yes.
You are burning people's properties.
Well, that'll be it for now.
You are burning people's properties.
We're ending the discussion.
You are burning people's properties.
We're ending the discussion. Now let's go to Cape Coast.
It is wrong to burn people's properties.
So you said this government is
wrong.
This government is
Roland, I do not know where my colleague belongs.
So you said this government is doing what?
Perpetrating lawlessness.
I don't know where
it's
my colleague belongs.
Let's go to Cape Coast now, where Seth Kwame Boateng is standing by, and he's standing by with the health minister for an exclusive interview, but we'll bring you that very soon. But you wanted to say what?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask my colleague, where does he stand in the whole scenario? Is he against the fight against Galamsey, or he's for the fight against
I am against killing people.
Please.
That's not a penalty for killing.
But who have said killing people is...
So you wanted to know, I've told you.
My question is, are we sure that these people were so-called have died as a result of the actions of the
Exactly. What about the 17 people who the pit caved in and they died? Who are you going to impugn that kind of death to?
The government should not be engaged in lawlessness.
Please.
I'm saying the government should not be engaged in lawlessness.
You were here.
The government is wrong for the government to be burning the properties of people.
You were here in this country when
the
government
should not.
That
doesn't make the government. That should not make the government engage in that
kind of thing.
I'm saying that should not make the government. So the government should be killing.
Oh please, your government have contributed to this menace.
People are laughing at you.
So large. Under your watch, this operation escalated. Another government comes in place, and the whole of Ghana are ready and prepared to rally behind the president and the government to stop these illegalities. Yes, of course, nobody is happy with the fatalities that we are witnessing.
Do you know who to me?
Oh, please.
Do you know who to me? The man you are going to contest.
The fatalities
he was engaged in Galamsey.
Is he going to contest him?
Yes, he's contesting. That is the extent to which
he's contesting him as what?
He wants to go for regional chairman. Galamsey.
So now,
your chairman.
Now,
Honorable Henry Kwabena Kokofu is a former member of parliament for Bantama.
Is that NDC?
And apparently, an Ashanti region MPP aspiring chairman.
Yes.
Is that it?
Yes. And
I will
asking him.
I will not
And
glorify-
Abraham Amaliba
I'm asking him.
is a legal practitioner.
And I'm
Indeed, both
asking
of them
him
are
whether
legal
he knows-
practitioners as well.
He knows. Who-
And thanks for joining me this morning. I always love it when the two of you are in the studio.